Here we are, and it is a special edition of the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Make that a preset. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Do we have, before we go to Leighton in Cisco, he's got some driving tips. I cannot wait for this. Love talking about all this stuff. Do we have Grant Cruz on from Encore right now? Okay, cool. We have Grant Cruz from Encore. I thought we did. Just wanted to make sure. Grant, appreciate you for joining us here on the Chris Crock Show on WBAP, especially in this crappy weather that we're all dealing with. How you doing? How you guys doing over there at Encore tonight?
Oh, we're doing well. Working some late hours to get everybody back on, but it's been a pretty fair day compared to what we were worried it might be like. So,
yeah. What were you guys thinking it could be like, and what is it like?
Well, you just never know with these winter weather events about, what kind of impacts there's going to be on vegetation. But the temperatures stayed high enough that we didn't really have the ice accumulation that we were worried would kind of hit the area. And so really what we've seen today is a lot of isolated things, pieces of equipment tripping off. But the main issue has been traffic accidents.
There's a couple things. There was that big, massive fire. I even think it made some national news just because it was so massive looking. What's the latest on that in Fort Worth, I think it was, or it may have been Roanoke, but there was a power station or a substation that had some issues. And I read something about 30,000 gallons of oil or something. Like, what is that? What was going on there as far as you are aware of, and is it all under control now?
Yes, it's under control. We did have a fire last night at our Roanoke substation. We were alerted to what was happening around 7 last night. We went out there with the fire department, and they held off on getting in there until we got everything switched off. We did. We had all the customers rerouted by 8:30, so nobody was without power. But, those transformers and things that are in there have a lot of oil inside of them. So we had people on scene. The fire department had people on scene all through the overnight hours, and just kind of let the cold temperatures burn out the fire on its own. And we're still working on getting a cause for that. Until we can get in there and really evaluate that equipment, we won't know exactly what started it.
All right, that was wild. When I read something like 30,000 gallons of oil, I'm like, what? Why would oil be in a power station? I'm not trying to get deep in the woods with you. Why would there be that? Why is there oil in there? I'm just curious.
Well, pretty much any transformer you see, whether it's up on a pole, most of them have oil in them. And so the substations, which have very large transformers because they're serving a large area, they do have more oil in them. So that's a little bit of a kind of high-level explanation.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't understand why oil would be in there, but what do I know? I'm not an electrician or somebody dealing with that massive equipment. So, this is going to blow some people away. Maybe it won't. But the biggest reason that you told me earlier in the show tonight was that we're having power outages, and there's not lots of them, quote unquote. Want you to give me the number as of right now of power outages we have. But then also, what is the biggest reason in this storm that you're seeing power outages for? I think this is going to kind of blow some people away. Like, what? Go ahead.
Right. So right now, system-wide, we're looking at around 2,300 people who are without power. Again, keep in mind that's out of 4 million plus meters that we have across our system. But yeah, what we've seen a lot today is just, people kind of slipping and sliding off the road into our equipment. I've been communicating with our team about a truck that ran into a pole a little while ago in the Casa Linda area and knocked out some power. So I think it's just a matter of people, getting kind of overconfident when there's not a lot of cars on the road and maybe going a little too fast. But that's been the bulk of what we've dealt with today.
And it's like a car, and you were telling me earlier, like a residential area, and they're driving too fast for conditions. They fly off or get off or fall, or veer off the road and hit a pole, utility pole, or something of that nature, right?
Yeah, exactly. And depending on the amount of damage they do, it could be a fairly easy fix, or they many times break the pole completely in half. So we have to bring in a new pole and new. That's crazy. New equipment. Yeah. So
how long does something like that typically? I mean, I know every situation is different, but how long does something like that typically take to replace, get back up and running? Because that's just wild. Somebody's car crashes into a pole in a residential neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about, the pole snapping because of the car, it could take a few hours to get the proper equipment out there and get everything reset. Because, again, going back to the oil that's in the transformers, they're a very heavy lift. And so if you've got a pole that has a transformer on it, it could take a little bit of time to get that back up.
Wow. Okay. So what are you expecting for tonight and tomorrow? Basically, it seems like we're out of the storm issues and road issues and all that stuff as of about noon or slightly earlier on Saturday. What are you anticipating over the next 24 to 48 hours, if there's going to be any change or any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, we know that more precip is moving in during the overnight hours. The big issue we'll see is kind of the refreezing, and that could put more weight on these trees and power lines, and again, just making sure that people are being cautious. We, like you said, expected to move out in the morning, but a lot of that leftover water is going to refreeze later on Friday, and we really expect most of the stuff will be gone by Saturday, but it's just a matter of getting through tomorrow.
And the last worry, from what I've learned from you in past conversations, is that if ice gets on the power lines or on the tree limbs, that can be devastating to power outages, right? Yeah, exactly. I mean, ice forming on a branch can increase its weight by 30 times. And so when you have like recent rain events like we did over the holidays, and then a high wind event like we did earlier this week, it kind of weakens those root systems to begin with. And then having a big freezing rain event doesn't help anything. But like I said, we didn't see major vegetation impacts today. We're just really encouraging people to put safety first and stay off the roads if you can. Well, we appreciate you very much, Grant Cruz, Encore Communications Manager. Thanks for your time tonight, sir.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, too. Do we have time to pop on one more call here, producer? Okay. We're going to talk to Leighton in Cisco coming up next. He's got some driving tips for you. I can't wait to hear that. I'm going to give you my driving tips. We've got more of the things to do and not to do on the roads. And then what are the biggest pet peeves you have when you see people driving like a fool out there? What are the things that make you the most upset or disturbed? Like, what's wrong with you people, the way they're driving out there in this kind of weather? And what did you see today? Did you have to go into work today? Are you not happy about that? What kind of work do you do if you do have to go in? And did you go to the grocery store? Did you see anybody get knifed over toilet paper today or over a piece of produce? I hope not. 800-288-WBA. This is too much fun. Other than the bad weather. 800-288-9227 is our number, 800-288-WBAP. This is the Chris Crock Show, special edition on our Winter Storm Watch coverage, Operation Storm Watch in effect. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Did you raid the hardware store? Did you raid the grocery store? Did you get knifed over a piece of produce? My wife said people started panicking about cilantro yesterday. What? Why do you need cilantro? I need it! That's not my wife. I'm saying whoever it is. There's one person said they needed cilantro. Another one said, where's the cilantro? I want it too. And then my wife started saying everybody was panic buying. And so she's like, what do I got to buy? What else should I buy? Oh my gosh, I got to buy more. What are they buying? Anyway, driving tips. What kind of bad driving are you seeing out there? What is your advice to people? And what are the biggest pet peeves you have when people drive in this weather and you see them doing stupid things? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Let's go to Leighton in Cisco. You are on News Talk 820 WBAP. Hello, what's up?
Hey, Chris. I'm a Generation X. I grew up driving stick shifts and before ABS was a thing. And Dad, I'm so glad he did. He turned me loose in a 1978 Oldsmobile lead sled on a foot of ice and snow in Nebraska in the wintertime.
Nice.
I mean, giving me practical experience.
Oh, by the way, I'm a Generation X too. I always have to look it up. I'm like, what am I? Yeah, I am too. So, and I had a stick shift too. My first car was a Ford Escort stick.
Nice. But something that I'm not hearing, everybody's saying, put your vehicle in neutral and gently coast to slow down. Well, a lot of these vehicles, especially pickup trucks like what I drive, they've got a gear selector on the stick where you can gear up, gear down like a manual. And if you'll hit the downshift button or paddle and take your foot off the gas, it will slow you down almost like a Jake brake on an 18-wheeler, but you'll keep traction to your drive wheels, and you'll be able to steer and slow down a lot safer.
Now, wait, are you saying this is a stick shift or automatic?
It's an automatic, but a lot of the vehicles, I drive a big F-250, and it's got the
paddles. I know what you mean now. You can go you can go 1, 2, drive, whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 or whatever, right? Where you can automatically shift it faster or whatever. Yes, okay. Yes. So talk to me about that again. You're saying you paddle down?
What I'll do in slick situations, if I need to slow down a little faster, someone was an idiot and jumped in front of me, cut down my reaction space, I can paddle down one gear while taking my foot off the gas, and it will imitate a Jake brake. Yes,
and a Jake brake, for those who don't know, is when the truckers use their engine to brake down. It's real loud. It's like, and like there's a lot of small towns that have no Jake braking signs in them. Yeah, I know what you mean now. Yes, and in my car, go ahead. Sorry.
Also, and this is something that I make sure that my mom's vehicle always has in it, is a bag of kitty litter, which sounds funny, but kitty litter is just a larger version of the sand that the DOT trucks are putting out on the highway. You lose traction. Take that bag, throw a couple handfuls down in front of your tires or where you're trying to walk, and boom, you've got traction.
Right on.
It's not going to kill the ground like salt will. It's not going to affect it. And, once everything goes away, you wash it off, you sweep it away, no harm, no foul. You just add a little bit of gravel to wherever you're at.
Right. Now, on my, you talk about the shifting down or whatever with your gears or whatever. Mine is on the console, the center console or whatever you want to call it, and I have to tip. I take mine, I push my shifter to the left and then up or down so I can shift up or down. But either way, that's a good idea. Leighton, I appreciate your call, my friend. You be safe.
Yes, sir, and thank you for the late night entertainment and information.
My pleasure, brother. Thank you for contributing to it tonight. Be safe. Todd in the Colony, this is going to be good. He's a Lyft driver. Let's talk to Todd. You are on WBAP. Hello. What you got?
What's happening? I'm in Carrollton at Josie and Frankfurt. But I just left the Colony. Actually, I drove up here from Austin yesterday because I'm working the Cotton Bowl tomorrow.
So you're a Lyft driver. You're a Lyft driver normally from Austin?
Right. Yes, sir. Yeah. But I used to live up here, and I drove up here to work the Cotton Bowl, but I'm not going to be driving at the Cotton Bowl. I may actually be inside the stadium working. But
Okay.
Staying with my daughter, but she's in Flower Mound, North Fort Worth, over by Blue Mound and everything. And we didn't really get much of anything. The roads were just slushy. So I was going to just go check to see what the roads were like on my way to Arlington. And I decided to go ahead and turn on the app, and I ended up over in the Colony, Louisville Colony. They got hammered, man. There is snow everywhere, and it's coming down in bunches right now. Just
wow.
Yeah. So I'm doing like 10 miles an hour right now going down Josie.
Wow. What would you guess, if you had to take a guess at what kind of inches they're getting over there in the Colony?
Man, I bet they got the 8 inches everybody was looking for.
Oh my gosh!
Louisville and the Colony.
They were saying that we are going to get certain areas will get a blanket of 8 inches. Certain areas, like some bands, and that would be it right there, huh?
I would say so. It's the most snow I've seen, since I've been up here. It's coming down very heavily right now, and the roads they're slick because they got so much snow on them. They're not slick because they're frozen. It's just there's a lot of water on the roads. So
well, listen, I appreciate you. I'm going to take a look out my window, as some Texans like to say, my window. I'm going to take a look out my window in a few minutes. I appreciate you. Drive safe, Todd. Thanks for that awesome report on 8 inches possibly. All right, brother. Let's talk to Mike in Cleburne. Mike, you're on WBAP. Hello. What's up?
What's going on? I just want to comment on, the fact that these people are saying that you can put it in neutral and just cruise over these bridges. I called into you last night and told you I tried everything going over bridges in a Ford Ranger pickup truck, and it didn't matter. I still spun out. So putting it in neutral or just cruising over the bridges or keeping it steady doesn't work.
Now, is your bridge straight? It's not turning or anything, right?
Right. It doesn't matter what kind of bridge.
Well, let me tell you.
Straight bridge, and if there's ice on it, you have no grip.
That's exactly right. Here's what I do on bridges, okay? In North Texas, which I've been here for 15 years, when I approach a bridge that may or may not have ice, I assume it does in this kind of weather, and I literally let off my gas. I enter it going probably 30 or 20 miles an hour if I'm on a highway, and I don't care. I'll go in the slow lane, and then I will coast through it. I will not touch my brake. I will not touch my gas. I will not touch any of them. And I will hold my knuckles real tight on that wheel and just hold it steady. That's all you do. You enter it at the speed, at the slowest speed you can without being a nuisance on the highway, and you coast over it. And then you if you try to move anything, you're going to be possibly foobarred. So that's what I say, brother.
And you white knuckle it and you pray that you have enough grip left, even at the slow miles an hour.
Yes, every ounce you do. You really do. Thanks for your call, brother. Drive safe. Stay in touch. We're going to be talking for another hour and a half tonight for Red Eye Radio. Have a good night, my friend. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. More driving tips, all sorts of great stuff. We're going to continue talking. Lines wide open for the first time in a while. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. More on the driving recommendations and pet peeves next. It's Chris Crock on WBAP. Bad driving habits, what annoys you, everything. Where a place where they got massively hit was McKinney. Nathan's in McKinney. You're on WBAP. Hey, Nathan.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good, man.
So, yeah, there's I'd say about 5 to 6 inches of snow on the ground right now. But people need to realize speed is not your friend when you're driving in the snow. So the slower you can go, the better, and no sudden movements. Everything is slow and gradual. The fast movements are the ones when you start spinning out. So like you said, if you start jerking the wheel or start hitting the gas really hard or hitting the brake really hard, that's when you're going to run into problems.
Right. And so bridges is the most important thing on bridges or places where you think there could be black ice. You just hold on to that wheel tight. You do not move it left or right, and you do not touch your gas. You do not touch your brake. You coast right through it. So you got 5 or 6 inches right now?
Yeah, I'm at the Baylor Scott White Medical Center right now, and there's probably that much on the road right now.
Wow. Have you seen a lot of morons, or is it pretty dead out there because people don't want to be on the roads?
You see a lot of people that you see them in pickup trucks and things like that where they think just because it's four-wheel drive that they can go faster, but that is not the case. Ice and snow don't care if you're in four-wheel drive or if you're in two-wheel drive. You're going to spin out just the same.
That's exactly right. I have not heard from one person in all of our talks in the past 24, 48 hours of this weather that have said, Chris, you're wrong. You guys are wrong. All you guys are wrong. My 4x4, with my truck, it goes better. It handles better. It's interesting. I don't know. Although I will say, my opinion, people that are like that are the people that are, well, not they're low IQ, low sperm count. They like those the Fast and the Furious movies. So they don't listen to talk radio because they're not really terribly bright, is my humble opinion. I appreciate your call, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. All right, coming up next, we're going to talk to the great Jesse Hawila, meteorologist from WFAA TV Channel 8, a friend of this show, and we get him on here coming up next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Were you here in DFW? I know you have done your tour, working your way up the ladder like I have, all of us broadcasters have. Were you here in the 2018, not 2018, the 2010, 2011 storm? I think I was in the 2011 with all that snow. Were you here that time?
I missed that one. I was working in Indiana at that time. So
okay,
I missed that one.
Yeah, that was, we did that, and I have, like you have right now with your daughter, a beautiful picture of you guys doing that together and afterwards. And when that comes up, give yourself 10, 15 years where I'm at now, and that'll come up on your Facebook thing on your phone, and you'll be like, you will start, you won't cry, but you have a tear in your eye. You'll be like, oh my gosh, where did my little daughter go?
Man, I'm telling you, the thing I've noticed, and I'm not missing any moments, which is why later tonight I'm going to be driving home because I want to take her sledding first thing tomorrow morning for her first time.
That's awesome.
So I chose not to stay at a hotel downtown because I have to work early tomorrow and all day. So I'm going to go home as much as I don't want to drive in it. But like you said, man, it goes so fast too. Just like
it does.
Yesterday, she was just a baby yesterday. Now she's a whole little kid, and it's just everything's so exciting for her. So we've been enjoying this.
Yes, and then you go through these phases, and then you're like, oh my gosh, a little bit later, a couple more years down the road, you'll be like, oh, I don't have to leave them worry about leaving them unattended for 5-10 minutes or something like that. And then you get older, and you're like, oh my gosh, no more tween stuff. And then you get older, and like, this is really cool. We're hanging out, we're having fun,
Yeah.
And then you get your heart ripped out, which hasn't happened yet, but it's on the precipice when your son or your daughter, I have both, when they move out. That's gonna like, oh, my wife's like, oh, I can't wait till they get out of here, and I'm like, no, stay, stay.
No, I'm gonna be just like you. I can't even think about that. That breaks my heart.
I know. Don't worry about it. You have many years, and by the time it happens, you might be like my wife, like, okay, you know what? I need some privacy. Oh, I can't wait till they get out of here. You don't say it in front of them. You say it when they're not around. But that's my wife, not me. So, Haas, you've had a crazy day. We've all had crazy days driving around. Tell me what it was like driving in for you, and tell me what has happened today and what we're anticipating tonight.
Yeah, so we were saying the 1 degree difference can have huge implications on who sees what, and man, did we see that today. So my drive-in was horrendous. I drove from up north on the Dallas North Tollway. It was really bad. I got into work this morning around 11. Not a pleasant drive home, but I think the biggest visual story for me today that really tells what happened was we have these live cameras at DBU, Dallas Baptist University, on the southwest side of Dallas, and we have one at UNT in Denton. And Denton saw 4 inches of snow, 5 almost now. And then as the crow flies, DBU is 35 miles southeast of there.
Right.
Nada. So think about that. 35 short miles. That's, in the grand scheme of the atmosphere, that is not very much. That is why winter weather is so difficult to forecast. But now for the rest of tonight, we have this band of some pretty heavy snow kind of rolling through the entirety of the Metroplex. It's this transition from rain to snow, and it may dump another dusting to 2 inches of snow across parts of North Texas, additional to whatever you've seen today. And I know some people haven't really seen much.
We also got a call. I don't know if this makes sense to you, and it's hard to tell while you're driving through it, but we got a call from a gentleman, I don't know, this past hour, and he was driving through, I might get this wrong, where he said he was driving through, was it, Louisville, and I forget the other one, but which is right next door to it, I think to the west by southwest perhaps. Flower Mound in Louisville.
Flower Mound.
Yes. So he said Louisville and Flower Mound, in his opinion, his guesstimation, you're the expert, not him, but he says 8 inches. It could have been one of those areas. No, no?
Oh yeah. I think the biggest total we've seen a lot, have been kind of north of US 380. There are some isolated 8-inch amounts, especially along the Red River counties. But I know parts of Denton County are pushing 5 or 6 inches at this point.
Okay.
So it's really been Now listen, this is Texas. That's impressive.
I know.
That's actually a really good snow for here.
That really is. So maybe it's 5 or 6 inches today's season, even though because we can't tell if we're driving around in it. He wasn't getting out of his car and measuring it, but so that's probably what he saw somewhere up.
There's definitely a joke there, but I'm not going to do it. There's definitely a joke there. I'm not going to do it. Listen. I'm just here for the weather. But there's a joke there that can be written very easily.
Well, I have a little something for that, too. We're not going to say the joke, but we'll say this. Hold on. I got a little something.
No.
Hold on. I got this for you. Here we go.
Thank you.
Sorry, that was so quiet.
Much.
That was so quiet. Hold on. I had my little, it was down too low. Here we go. Try it again.
There we go. Rim shot. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Okay, so, Hoss, tell me what we can expect tonight into tomorrow morning, and I don't know if it's going to be the same for south of 20 where DBU is. But tell me what it's going to be like tonight and tomorrow morning, because my hearing here, my understanding is it very well may freeze up overnight and be bad in the morning, but maybe I'm off. Talk to me.
Yeah, no. So the snow will have stopped falling by tomorrow morning, other than a flurry or two, right? But it will stay near freezing. So as people kind of get off the roads today, not that there were that many people on the roads anyway, we'll have a refreeze. So we definitely expect there to be some problems in that sense. There will be some ice.
Okay, so tomorrow morning we should be very cautious. It should be It might be really bad or pretty bad kind of a thing, right? And then what about? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say also Saturday morning, I want people to be careful too, because we're going to go above freezing tomorrow afternoon, and we're going to have a little bit of snow melt. That's going to lead to water in some areas on the roads, especially bridges and overpasses, and we very well may see refreeze and some black ice.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. It's tonight into tomorrow morning, maybe say, 10 o'clock or something, 9, 10 o'clock, or maybe even 11. I don't know where. You really have to be careful for ice, possibly on the roads, wherever you are. And then during the day, I think it's going to be okay. Is that accurate tomorrow?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we'll see improvements throughout the day tomorrow. So we're only going to get to a high of about 36, 37. It'll be a pretty cloudy day, but that's enough that when you get into these high trafficked areas these areas that a lot of people are driving over, that will melt a lot of the snow and ice there. So during the afternoon tomorrow and early evening, I expect improvements. But when we get back down to 24 degrees by Saturday morning, that's when we're going to start seeing a refreeze. So people may let their guard down a little bit, and I don't want them to, because black ice can be very dangerous because you don't see it. It's transparent, and by the time you get on it, it's a little too late. So just everyone should still be driving with caution, especially on bridges and overpasses. But you got it.
Okay, so it sounds like tonight and tomorrow morning, very very cautious if you decide to go out. And then it sounds like during the day tomorrow is okay, but then once you get to the afternoon, late afternoon, afternoon where it starts getting dark, get off the roads if you can. Is that accurate through the night until Saturday around, 11 in the morning maybe?
Nailed it. That's exactly right. The weekend we're going to have dramatic improvements because we're going to have sunshine and we're going to have highs in the mid-40s. That will give you a lot of improvement on the roads. I think we're going to be totally fine through the weekend.
Okay, so Jesse Hawila, meteorologist, WFAA TV Channel 8, friend of this show. And I got to ask you a few more questions. Okay, so as far as the comparatively speaking to other storms, we had the 2021 storm. This is nothing like that, right? And what are the differences between that one? And then why don't we just cap it all together with the 2011 and 2010 ones, where I see I know you weren't here, but we had 12.5 inches. Can you believe this? At DFW Airport in February 2010. Yes, and then so we could still get nailed, right? In February, and then we have February 2011. We had about 5 to 6 inches, depending on where you're at. Yeah.
So again, nothing like 2021. 2021 was one of those. The entire state was in this deep freeze. Every county in Texas was under a winter storm warning. This is just kind of a regional thing. I mean, it's been raining in central Texas and southeast Texas. And then as we go look back to the history books and see that big, foot of snow, it can happen. You never know. I mean, it's very rare for this area, but it's never out of the question. DFW picked up today so far 1.6 inches, which is actually the seasonal average of snow. Mm-hmm. And we're likely going to surpass that as this band moves through. We'll likely top off somewhere in the 2 to 3 inch range. So we'll end up saying that this was a snowier than normal winter in North Texas.
Just in 24 to 48 hours. And one more thing, too. You look at, two more things. They're both related to this. You look at the snowfalls average, and literally you got 1.5 in the 2023 to 2024 season. And then the previous 22 to 23 had 1.3 inches. Previously 1.7, and then 2020 to 2021, 5 inches. So we're kind of in a normal, like you said, a little pattern. And then the last thing here, though, is if you want to comment on that, I don't know if you want to comment on that, or you want me to go to my next thing?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah, no, you're totally right. This is actually not atypical to see this kind of snow in North Texas. I mean, some areas obviously picked up some hefty totals to the north, but overall this is fairly normal.
And then when you look at, we still could get nailed somehow. Well, not somehow, but we still could get nailed with a massive snow. Not that it's going to happen or anything. But between now, I mean, we still have a month and 3 weeks before wouldn't you say February we're out of the woods?
I would say, man, yeah, that February is usually when we get hit anyway. So we've got a long lot of winter to go through still. We're nowhere close to done. So don't be surprised if we see another snow before things are all over.
Right, and it could be, not that we're predicting anything, you're predicting anything, but it could be something that was we could get waylaid in mid to late February, right? I mean, that's not out of the ordinary, super ordinary at least.
Right. Yeah, no, that's definitely, it seems, especially the last several years, it really does seem like that's when we got our winter weather.
Yes.
Doesn't it? I mean, it seems like that. It seems like it was delayed up until that point. So, yes, that is, I mean, my goodness, we still have, what is today? I forget.
Trust me, I know what you mean. I'm pulling a 5-hour show today. You're probably pulling a 20-hour show today. So no, today is Thursday night we're almost into Friday. I know what you mean, though, brother. I've been there. We've all been there.
We got along. We still have so much of winter left to go. So this may not be our only one, but I'll be honest with you. Mm-hmm. I kind of hope it is.
I know, right? Because this beats you down, all of us. Jesse Hawila, meteorologist, WFAA TV channel 8. You are a rock star on this show. We appreciate you, and we'll talk to you soon. Get some rest and enjoy that beautiful daughter of yours. Okay, brother?
All right, brother. Thank you so much. It's really good to talk to you.
Great to talk to you, man. Rest well. Drive safe. Okay, coming up next, we're going to do the whole gamut. We got 1 hour left together after this before Red Eye Radio. Lines are wide open. 5 lines are open for you to chime in right now at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. We're going to talk about driving habits, what stores were open, did you have to work today, all that and so much more. Oh, and we're going to check in with the National Weather Service for another forecast in about 45 minutes. That's coming up next. It's the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3, 800-288-WBAP is our number.